Shalom Yasharallah, this your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I'm going to jump into this here article real quick. You know, we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the end, man. All right. It's pretty much to the point to where you can see, you know, that the light shining through the crack of the door getting smaller and smaller, man. All right. You know, because, you know, as the scriptures say, you know, measure the times diligently in itself. And when you see part of the signs past, and Noah is even at the door. All right. So nevertheless, we know the salvation is nearer than when we believe. All right. As we, how do I say, not reading, but measuring the prophecies and knowing the scriptures about, you know, what's left. All right. And Apostle always speaks on these things about how, you know, once they start making these things mandatory, all right, these final prophecies are going to start rolling real quick. Now, we speak on, you know, the last few major prophecies, you know, like Jacob's trouble, World War III, the nukes, the salvation with the chariots. All right. The 13 and 16. All right, you know, things like that. These are, you know, the major prophecies, right? The ones that have to take place. But in between those, you know, you have minor prophecies, you know, that has to take place as well too. And this is one of them right here, you know, about they have their own household. All right, and you know, basically people shunning you and things like that, man. All right, but you know, not just shunning you just because, but for this word's sake. All right, now we've already experienced a little bit of this when we came into the truth. All right, you know, like, what is that in Isaiah chapter 30 and starting around verse 9 or so. All right, about how, you know, the people, all right, you know, when we go out on the highways and the byways, we prophesy in our regular life, because this is just something you really can't hide. So, you know, like the scriptures say, what manner of conversation should you be in, seeing that the elements, you know, are about to melt, you know, roughly paraphrasing, you know, this is something who can but prophesy. So basically, you know, this is just something that's just spewing out of you at all the times, you know, no matter what the subject is. One way or another, you'll find a way to come back to these prophecies. It just happens, right? But we know, speaking of those types of things, right, just living that type of life, especially when you come into this here truth, you know, that's very repulsive unto just the regular people in the world. And they like to separate themselves from you, you know, which that's a good thing, you know, but nevertheless, and they're separating themselves from you for, you know, trying to uphold righteousness while they're being wicked, you know, and they don't want to be exposed with their wickedness. All right. You know, that's one part of it. You know, that's the beginning phase of it all. All right. But nevertheless, you know, you've been through this thing for a good amount of time. You know, you may still have some people in the world that, you know, that, how do I say, that know what you're a part of and everything else like that. And, you know, they may be respectful, you know, people at your job or relatives, you know, you may even have some relatives that know what you into, but, you know, they don't necessarily, so to say, subscribe to what you believe in, but nevertheless, you know, they, you know, it's like, oh, I get what they're doing, you know, at least they ain't out here gang banging or drug dealing, you know. I mean, hell, if you don't want to eat pork no more, that's on him, you know. But nevertheless, as we get to these things here, as you can see on the screen, all right, this is going to cause an even more, a greater division. And we've been speaking about this a lot lately, this division that's coming upon us. All right, now you can see with this here topic that's on the screen here, and just, you know, how our minds are set in this here world that we're living in now, as far as whether or not we want to participate in certain things. And, you know, our beliefs on this and people around us knowing our beliefs on these things. All right, even on a surface level, you know, you may be at your job and they may ask you, you know, somebody you work with or whatever, they may ask you if you want to participate. You know, now you may have been working with this person for 15 years or, you know, one of your customers for so long. And then all of a sudden, you know, y'all are, you know, buddy and everything. They may take you out on a boat or whatever, you know, but then all of a sudden it's like, nah, I'm not really with all of that, you know. Then all of a sudden they just want to look at you a little weird, you know. And I've, you know, speaking from experience, you know, I've had people I done worked for a couple years and everything like that. Always have hot things to say about me, always in a, you know, a jolly spirit and everything else like that. But, you know, speaking on these types of subjects, y'all see what's going on. Like, you know, I don't know about, you know, trusting them and doing all that. And, you know, their first thing is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Boy, you better go take that. You better go participate with these things. And then you automatically see that divide. So how much more with the people that you know, you may live with, your wife, your kids. All right. You know, that's going to cause a lot of division as well with them. All right. You know, your relatives, your parents, you know, just, you know, your in-laws and things like that. It causes that division. All right. But nevertheless, we already see how these things are going to play out. But look at what the article is saying here. All right. It says 1 in 7 participants have dumped friends who disagree with them on participating. All right. So we already see how these things are going. All right. And it's going to lead to a lot further things than this. You know, they have the, if you see something, say something. All right. You know, you may have some kids and you may believe, well, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to partake in those things. And somebody else may call, you know, especially how you see some of these Edomites, oh, I'm a little concerned about the kids and their safety. I'm going to call about this because their parents have these beliefs. Then now all of a sudden you got to deal with them trying to take your kids and stuff like that, man. All right, so these are the things that we've been preparing ourselves for and everything else like that. You know, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. It's polluted. You shouldn't be investing too much stuff into these you know, people and places and things like that, because at any point in time it could be taken from you. And you know, a lot of people are realizing this with their jobs, with the new mandates and things like that, man. All right, if you was really focused on those types of things, man, hey, you're in for a rude awakening, man. Your whole life just got changed, man. But like the scriptures say, we're gonna be living like pilgrims in that day. So hey, man, you know, whether you have a job, you've been there for so long, and all of a sudden they mandate these things, you have to just up and leave. You've had friends and families, people you've known for since you was in the sandbox and things like that. Then all of a sudden, you know, y'all just, oh, you believe in this and I believe in that. Well, shit, it's time to part ways, man. All right, because, you know, what are we accomplishing here? You're trying to convince me to participate, and I'm trying to convince you, hey, man, serve the Lord and repent. It's oil and water. It's never going to mix, all right? So it says, many Americans have been jettisoned friends from their lives during the lockdowns, basically. For those who have chosen to participate, views on a jab are often relationship breakers, a new poll has shown. All right, and you can imagine how, you know, some of these people are out here dating. Oh, you take this, you take that, or if you don't participate, I don't even want to deal with you. Which, you know, we got some information now, you know, whether it's true or not, but just as words of wisdom, you damn sure don't want to be dealing with nobody that's participating in this here race, man. All right, we'll call that participating in the race. You know, they're racing to their destruction. Because not only, you know, I've also thought about this, like, oh, you putting something inside of them, who's not to say that, you know, you can't transmit it one way or the other. But nevertheless, all right. So surveys conducted earlier this month by researchers, one poll showed that 16% of respondents have ended at least 3 friendships in the past year and a half. About 14% of participants said they have severed relationships with friends who chose not to get inoculated against the virus. All right. So, hey, you know, it's over some beliefs. And again, you have some people who have relationships that was set in stone, you know, from, hey, man, you know, we grew up from, you know, the 3rd grade together. We've always been best friends. I was there when your mama died and you got evicted and your wife did this and that, blah, blah, blah. Y'all done went through it all. Y'all done been to battle and back, you know, but something over these things here. And, you know, y'all believed in 2 different things to begin with anyway. You know, let's say you believe in, like, he's heavy into sports and you're not into sports at all. You know, y'all, that's something y'all can't agree on, but y'all can still be friends, right? You know, y'all still found a way to work out y'all relationship. But then now all of a sudden over this scenario, you know what I'm saying? That's the deal breaker. You know, we're willing to throw away all the things that we've had built up for this here one situation. Well, it's not a far-fetched thing, you know, and they're not necessarily a quote-unquote low-level people. It's really a blessing from the Most High that he's just getting these people from around you. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is prophecy being fulfilled, man. All right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to read anymore. This is a short article, but nevertheless, I'm going to jump into some scriptures. Because, like I said, this is all a part of prophecy that's taking place, man. So you shouldn't feel out of place, out of whack, you know, when people start separating themselves for you for you know, upholding righteousness, following after, you know, Yahushua, man. All right. Nevertheless, it says, you know, these are actual good stripes. You know, hey, man, nah, you know, I done lost all my friends and my family because I was dead set on pleasing the Most High rather than pleasing man. You know, I wasn't going to partake into those things. I was going to go out here and go on the highways and the byways, make my body a living sacrifice while they want to sit over here and live in the world. You know, but at the end all be all, you know, they're going to be sitting down here, you know, they running a race to be missile food, man. You running a race to be saved and delivered up out of this here place, man. So y'all have 2 different, you know, end stops where y'all plan on getting off the train at, and they not in, you know, both, you taking a train going east, they taking a train going to the west. All right, you know what's happening in the west, right? The lake of fire, you know. But nevertheless, continuing on, Matthew 24:9, it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right, and we're seeing how these things are playing out about if you see something, say something, you know, if people don't want to, you know, they even got with the kids, if the kids, Going to school, they tell them about it. Their parents have these certain beliefs. Hey, let us know about them. Do you know anybody that's like this, that think like this, or anybody that's so-called a radical or extremist? And it's nothing wrong with being radicalized or an extremist. You're around extremists every damn day, man. All right, go out to your local bar, some Hooters, whatever, those little places, sports bars, right? Now, whenever it's like game time, these people that's out there, they just like us. We out there with our garments on and everything else like that. We're, how do I say? You can tell what we're about by the things that we're into. Just like when you go into a sports bar, you see them fanatics in there. All right, that's where the word fan come from. All right, they're sports fanatics. They truly believe in these things and everything else like that, man. They're extremists. They go and they get the face paint. They cheer for their people. They pay for tickets to fly all the way across the world. They don't miss a game for anything, man. All right, but nevertheless, they like to paint it in a bad light or whatever for being an extremist or radicalized about things, man. Hey, man, we're just extreme on being righteous, man. All right, you see those bodybuilders, Arnold Schwarzenegger type people, they was extremists about being fit. Fighters, I'm an extremist about being a top fighter or sports player, man. We just extremists on being in righteousness, man. All right, we try not to go out here and displease the Most High, man. All right, we're trying to follow after His will to the best of our ability, man. All right, y'all want to call us wicked for that, then so be it, man. We're not harming anybody. The worst thing that we do is we read the scriptures, and that shit make you uncomfortable because, like the scriptures say, hey, the word is sharper than any two-edged sword, man. You just getting cut for being wicked, man. We didn't force you to do the wicked shit that you're doing. We just reading it out of the scriptures, man. All right, but nevertheless, continuing on, it says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. All right, so and then this affliction could be in certain things, man. Whether it be, like I said, Becky down the block and found out that, from your kids playing with their kids and you have your beliefs and they have their beliefs, and you find out that little Ray didn't get his participation trophy. All right, and little Tommy go and tell his mom, and his mom go and call CPS on your ass. Now all of a sudden you being afflicted because now they want to come take your child out the household, man. Or in the school, they want to take your child away from you at that point, or hell, your wife, your woman, or your baby mother, or things like that. They may want to bring you through the court systems and things like that, afflicting you over these types of things. Your family, your relatives, don't come back around the house. I done disowned you, or all kind of things like this, man. All right, you may live in a high-rise building that may require your identification for certain things. All right, being afflicted for these things. We see it now. All right, the moves being pushed to be made for people who stand, for not participating. How they're going to be afflicted if they wind up getting pushed out of their job and still have to pay their rent, still have to put food on their table, man. All right, all these types of things. We see these divisions coming up, man. All right, we don't really care about losing no friends, man. All right, because really ultimately the only people that's really friends unto us, like Yahweh, I say, hey, who is my mother and who is my father? All right, Lord, we can actually grab that, but who is my mother and who is my father? All right, but they that do the will of the Most High, man. Matter of fact, let me finish this real quick. It says, then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you should be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right. And going for the Lord's name's sake for what? Standing up for righteousness, keeping his commandments. All right. But nevertheless, and not necessarily just being put to death. You can be put to death. But hey, it's almost the same thing being put to death here on this other side. You can be a living dead. Hey, you wind up losing your job, getting evicted and living out here in these streets and everything else like that. Hey, we pretty much dead to this world anyway, man. These people just want to make it harder for us, man. They want to call you out at the job or whatever. Oh, he the only one that didn't take this. We got to get him up out of here, man. Because they make you feel uncomfortable. You make them feel uncomfortable because, it's like, hey, man, it's just like a lot of these women out here that's pushing for promiscuous women to be able to do whatever they want to go and do and things like this, man. All they're doing these things just so that, how do I say, it's like a blanket for them to keep doing their own wickedness, man. And hearing certain conversations, especially like, matter of fact, just as a side example for this, you have some women that's pushing for these women to go out here and be as promiscuous as they want to be. Well, that's her body. That's her choice to go do whatever she want to go do. If she's 17 and 16 and want to go and have sex with these men, it's fine for them to go do all these things, right? Well, wait a minute. But then again, now you want to be mad at certain people who be dealing with these little younger chicks like that, and then, oh, he's a this and he's a that. They're like, wait a minute, how the hell, not touching on to all these things, but there's a high-profile case, if you can catch my drift, what I'm talking about. It's like, yo, you have some of these same women that's pushing for these women. Well, girl, if you want to go out there and do all this, you can't tell that young woman that she got to be a 17-year-old virgin. If she want to go out there and have sex at 17, she can go do that. But then all of a sudden, there's something wrong with the man that's having sex with this here woman, like I said, it's just a high profile case that's going on right now. And it was like, oh, looking at the situation with this, the chick that's saying all these things don't want nobody to call her out for being basically a whore in the streets, man. All right, that's the only reason she pushing that, because she don't really believe in that shit like that for real. All right, but nevertheless, the same with these people out here, man. All right, you in the office, workplace, and everything like that, and everybody else got juiced up because they're just blonde followers. The blonde leading the blonde. They don't know no better about these things, but they just feel more comfortable if everybody is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Instead of one person being right, because in that one person that's right, it's like, oh, see, I told y'all niggas, y'all got caught slipping. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just how they're going to get down. So you're going to basically be hated for what? Standing for righteousness in this point in time. A lot of people are going to want to separate themselves from you, man. All right? For these different things, But nevertheless, hey, this is all prophecy being fulfilled in your face, man. This is not the time now to be on the fence, off the fence, whether you believe this or you don't believe this and everything else. Like the goddamn scriptures are speaking for themselves right now, man. All right, all the things that we've been telling you are all coming to pass right now, man. You're seeing, like I said, man, you're seeing the door getting tighter and tighter and tighter closed, man. All right, we don't know how much longer we're going to be having jobs out here, man. All right, it could be next week, next month, 2 months from now. Like, you know what? Hey, if you don't want to participate, there's no more place for you to be hired up out here, man. All right, depending on where you're living and the type of establishment that you're living in, hey, man, it's shit where we prophesy it. All right, there's a high-rise apartment building right across from us. When they had the mask mandates and everybody was pushing for everybody to have a mask, they said, hey, you need a mask to get into this here lobby. We don't give a damn what you do inside the house, inside of your house, but you need a mask to get inside this here lobby. And then they can even push it further. Well, you live next door to somebody else. You can get them, situated with your situation. If so we got to get you up out the building, man. All right, so hey, you get in the elevator, you can be pushing buttons, and you could be spreading your, all these different types of narratives and things like that, man. So we know that, hey, man, trying to hold on to this here place, trying to hold on to relationships in this here place, whether it be friends, families, jobs, and all this bullshit, man. It's all about to be missile food, man. All right, we're about to see now who is the Lord's chosen, man. Who's really standing for the Lord in these times, man. All right, and it's not really just what you say and how you so-called dress it up, but in your real actions, man. All right, your actions are going to really show forth in these last days, man. All right. Now let me go to because I just quoted this. I think it's Matthew 10. Matter of fact, there's two things in Matthew 10 I wanted to grab. Oh, here's a good one too, but oh man. I'm gonna just for time's sake. Oh man, let me just read this for edification's sake. All right, it says in fact, that's what I'm going to touch on. Let me jump down real quick. I think it's at the end of it. Maybe it was in 10. I'm going to go back to 10, though. Oh, here it is in 12. All right. Matthew 12 and 48. But he answered and said unto me, let me go to... Let me start at verse 46. Matthew 12 and 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brothers still without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hands towards his disciple and said, behold, listen, he stretched forth his hands towards his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same as my brother and my sister and my mother. So going into this, man, like I was just making a statement, man, all these relationships that you have, man, none of these things matter, because in a real time of trouble, who can you really depend on? And you learn this here lesson in the world. All right. You have some people that you're literally blood related to. All right, whether you have a real blood brother, a real blood sister, real blood parents that may not look out for you in certain times of need and trouble, or will warn you of certain things, or that nigga figure it out on his own, you know what I'm saying? Or they, you even see this in real life where a real blood brother may even set his own real blood brother up, or know somebody about to set their own blood brother up, and then they, hey, fuck that nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? But then you have real friends in this here world, all right, who got your back over nothing, you may, maybe a little bit behind on some money, some little petty money, $50, $100. You may need something like that. You know what I'm saying? You go to your parents, your siblings who got the money. All right, bro, I ain't giving you shit, your broke ass, and this, and that. But then you go to one of your homies, one of these real brethren or whatever. It's like, look, man, you ask them to help you out financially. Look, bro, I ain't got it, but let me make a phone call, see if I can get it for you. That actually help you out. So you know this in the world, man. The ones that's really, how do I say, really have good intentions for you, put it that way, And now, bringing this back to the spiritual aspect, all right? Like Yahushua said, the ones that do the will of my Father, all right? When you go to Ezekiel chapter 3, in verse, 17, I've made thee a watchman into the house of Israel. Or we can go to Ezekiel 33 or Ezekiel 30, all right? Talking about, setting up that watchman, all right? The watchman is supposed to blow the trumpet to warn the people. Why does he have to, why would he blow the trumpet when he sees some danger coming to warn the people if he didn't care about them? Like, well, fuck them niggas. Let me get my ass the fuck up out of here and I'm gone. But hey, if you really care about the people, you're going to sit there and blow the horn because you don't want to see your people get slaughtered. You care about them. So you're doing the will, in that sense, you're doing the will of protecting your people. So in this here same state, Yahushua, they love the elect. All right. So they're going to give, what is that? Revelation 5, I believe it is, about no man was able to open the books. All right. But Yahushua was able to open the books and loose the seal. And who did he give it to? Revelation, I believe it's 14, all right, about how he gave it to the 144,000, all right? Now, they were supposed to go out and warn the people because why? It's more, only the elect's going to get it anyway, right? That's your real brother, and you're going to make your body a living sacrifice for your brethren because you love them, right? So you want to warning them, doing this here research and warning and telling them and going into all these things like that, man. All right, but then you go and you tell your carnal brother, your fleshly brother, fleshly sister and parents and everything else like this, your cousins, hey man, look into this here situation, watch this here video about this, it's going to explain why you shouldn't participate in this here race and everything else like that. Bro, I ain't got time for all that, man. But you're trying to show them love because you love them for real by actions, trying to save them, but they don't really love you because they wouldn't even take the time to watch the video on something that's going to help them out. You see what I'm saying? So like with Yahushua saying, those that do the will of my Father, they're my mother, my brother, and my sister, my father, But ultimately, this is why this is only for the elect, man. All right, so going back into this, you don't really have no real relationship. So what's the point of trying to hold on to these relationships in this here time, man? All right, if we're reading these articles about how people are willing to cut you off because you don't want to participate, well, wait a minute, man. I thought you was my mama. I thought you were supposed to love me. I thought you was my father. I thought you were supposed to love me, my brother or my sister. I thought you were supposed to love me. But then all of a sudden, because I choose not to participate in this, I have a different belief than that, or I believe it, let's just bring it carnally. Because I root for an opposite team. Your favorite team is this, and my favorite team is their biggest rivals and stuff like that. Because I'm cheering for this team, you don't love me no more, then we wasn't really that much of you really didn't love me from the beginning anyway. You see what I'm saying? It's just, this is my belief and that's your belief. But hey, nevertheless, we feel the same way, man. You don't want to hearken and serve the Most High and repent. We ain't got no love for you, man. All right. We didn't wash our hands of your blood, man. We've warned you. That was our job. We've warned you. But hey, man, you don't want this? Cool. Forget about it. We gonna walk up out of here, man. All right. So it's really no love lost when they separate themselves from you. But then you also got to take it in your same mind, like, you know what? You should have been already ready to separate yourself from them. If they don't want to hear this, man, I loved you. You my biological father, my biological mother, this and that, But if that's what you want to do, then I'm going to have to just, I guess, love you from a distance. I'm not going to cuss you out or nothing like that and spit in your face and nothing like that. But, hey, you know what? I guess you ain't got I'm going to just kick it over here with my real brethren, the Akim. They're the ones that's going to tell me when I'm going off according to the scriptures. And then, hey, you know what I mean? We're going to reason with one another, man. Hear each other out, man. All right, but nevertheless, you on the other end, with your fleshly people or your fleshly or your wife, all these different people, your people at your job and everything else like that, man. Hey, man, they gonna only do was fill into their belly, man. All right, let me go back to Matthew 10. me start at verse 21. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And you should be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth unto the end shall be saved. So like, we was touching on a little earlier about, you may have those of your own household, man. All right, which we'll grab as well. Let me just jump down. Verse 32. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him also will I deny before my Father which is in heaven. Now, I wanted to touch on that just because of the fact of, you can say that you love the Lord and confess the Lord, with your mouth, but ultimately it's by your actions. All right. So, hey, man, you can't be like, oh, yeah, I believe in it. Lord, Yahushua, but then you out here participating in everything else like that, man. All right. But nevertheless, continuing on. Verse 34, think not that I am come to send peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. All right. Because people are looking for the day of the Lord to bring flowers and peace and things like that. But ultimately, we're in this here truth. We understand that we ate the whole roll. We digested it. We understand this is going to cause division. All right. Because the Lord has his way of doing things, and his way of doing things is contrary to the world that we live in. This is an evil, wicked world that we live in. And guess what? We had to be born again. We had to be born up out of this here world. All right. But everybody else that's still in this world is still cleaving to this here world, man. All right. So, Yahushua is coming to send a division, not peace. All right. So nevertheless, the division is going to come from when he's coming with the way of righteousness. All right, to a world of wickedness. All right, so we have to arise ye and depart up out of this here place. But nevertheless, the world, they're not going to understand those things, man. All right, they're going to think it's some kind of strange shit going on. All right, let me continue on. Verse 35, for I have come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. All right, and a man's foe shall be they of his own household. So going back into this, and we were just reading up a couple verses about, them afflicting you and basically sending you up to be brought before counselors and kings and to be arrested and killed and things like that. All right, why would Yahushua be bringing division? All right, we can look at it on the smallest level. Your grandma every Sunday y'all go to church, come home, eat some pork chop or pork product. Now all of a sudden you don't want to do that no more because you found out it's wicked. Now they looking at you all some type of way crazy, man. Now let's bring it to the point to where we at now. All right, again, they want to participate. They think that's the smartest, the wisest thing to do. All right, and we're saying, look, man, we're not doing that. The scriptures say different. Boy, I done raised you up better than this, and so on and so. All right, so now this is that division, man. All right, I think my son been radicalized. I think my son is an extremist. I think he's something wrong when he been watching them internet videos and things like that, man. This is that division is going to bring. We just read it in the article. Like, this is not something that we're so-called making things far-fetched. All right, now, when we were reading the article, they didn't say anything about the Bible in there. They didn't say anything about the scriptures in there. They was just talking about that one thing. But that one thing is going to lead into that 13:16 situation, man. All right. And so we understand, according to the scriptures, hell, what is that? Revelation 14:9. You basically going to be missile food if you partake with that. We're not trying to be a missile food, man. We didn't come into this thing to die, man. We came into this thing to be delivered and be saved, man. Be found righteous in the sight of the Lord, man. So we're going to stick to that. And like the scripture said, let no man take thy crown, man. All right. So this is where that division is going to come, because we're going to be standing on this, for righteousness' sake. And they're going to be standing onto their carnal ways and their carnal measures, man. Now we got to do this to keep this here job, man. I don't know what's wrong with you. Something got a hold of you or something like that. So now they have their own household. It says, a man's foe shall be they of their own household. All right. This is where that division is going to come into play, man. All right. You may have a wife. She's like, how you gonna pay these bills and feed the kids if, you done lost your job and you don't want to go back out there into the workforce because all the jobs, you have to have these papers, man. I got to divorce you. I got to take care of me and the kids because obviously you don't love us. All right. Again, people don't even want to talk to folks, date folks, have friendships no more, or have your kids come over to the other kid's house and them playing the same softball team, soccer team, and all these different things, or even be in the same classroom with these kids, man. We see how these mandates are causing this great division amongst people, man. But ultimately, the only division you don't want to have is the division between you and the Lord, man. All right, we already read about how you're gonna be hated of all. Let me go up a little bit. Where is it at? just read it. Salakia, give me a second. Let me read 21 and 22. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall raise up against the parents and cause them to be put to death. And you should be hated of all men's sake for my name. Salakia, you should be hated of all men for my name's sake. All right. So going into these things, man, like I said, man, the only person we're not trying to be divided from is Yahweh Yahushua, in the Akim, because ultimately, like we were reading here, the children cause the parents to be put to death, or just, separate themselves from you. Oh, my parents believe in not participating, but your kids is in the school system, them being brainwashed about these different things, and all of a sudden now you have this here division. Now you feel some type of way, and you want to not be separated from your kids. But let me go down. Let me just read from 35 to 37. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foe should be of they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So, again, you ain't supposed to be going and cussing out your kinfolk and stuff like that. But nevertheless, hey, man, if your wife want to leave you because you don't want to go out here and participate and you done lost your job and things like that, hey, man, she can't deliver you from the missiles, but the Most High can. All right. So that's the person you don't want to be separated from. All right. But nevertheless, ultimately, the Lord is going to, provide for those that how does it say? We just read it up here as well, too, to denying me in front of my father. Salakia. I just read this. But nevertheless, just for time's sake, we're going to just go. I wanted to read one more precept. Nevertheless, let me just read this last one real quick. We'll close out. 2 Ezra 16. I'm going to start at, verse 67, maybe? Start at verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. So going into this, hey, man, you pretty much going to be hated by everybody for the Lord's name's sake. We see how the narrative is being painted. We see what the articles are saying, how these people are separating themselves from these folks, man. People are going to be mad that everything is shut down because of the participants, right? For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So this is just reiterating what we're reading about how you're going to be hated of all men's you're going to be hated of all men for the Lord's name's sake. All right. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. All right. So why would they be destroying and spoiling those that fear the Lord? Because you already see how these things are. They got all these narratives they can push. I done lost my job because of people like you. I done had my kids taken because of people like you. We didn't have to lose food off of our plate because of people like you. You don't want to go out there and participate. You done lost your job. Now we out here homeless and shit. It says, for they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Because like the Lord say, we can grab that. We can close that too. 2 more precepts. Another one came to mind. Revelation 3 and 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Now, you can read about this as well in other places about, they're going to be hungry, we're going to be eating. They're going to be thirsty, we're going to be drinking. They're going to be sorrowful and vexed in the spirit. We're going to be happy and joyful, man. All right, so, hey, they ain't going to be able to do anything against thee, man. All right, only with thy eyes without behold, this here judgment is going forth on them, man. All right, so we understand that, trusting in the Lord is the only one that can deliver us up out of, these calamities coming upon the earth, ultimately, because he's the ones that's sending them. let me grab this last one in Isaiah. I think where it's at. Isaiah 59:19, it says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord, Yahweh, from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Like I was just saying, man, hey, the Lord is the one that's going to deliver us up out of these things, man. All right, the Lord is going to give back, Matthew 19 and 27. I'm not going to read it. We're going to just briefly touch on it. All right, about giving up all these things in the world. It's 27. Yeah, Matthew 19 and 27 on down. All right, about giving up all these things. The Lord said we're going to get it back in 100-fold. So, hey, man, you don't want to be separated from the Lord, ultimately. Forget these relationships, the friendships, the jobs, all these types of things that you're going to be separated from in these last days. If you've been in this thing for a while, you've been being built up for these things, man. You should understand that these things were to come. If you truly, honestly believe into these words that you're reading, all right, you have to, this is why the scripture say, eat the whole roll, man. All right, you have to understand that, hey, man, there's going to be a so-called hard times coming, how you could say carnally, to your emotions and things. Oh, we're going to be separated from our friends, our families. We're going to lose jobs. We're going to lose all the so-called good things in life. Hey, but you got to think about it spiritually, man. You're being separated from missile food, man. You're being separated from corrupt fruit. You're being separated from a place that's about to go down anyway, man. All right, and you're being joined unto Yahweh, man. All right, you're being joined unto the hopeful elect, man. All right, you're being joined unto salvation, man. All right, everything else over here is you don't want to be joined into destruction. You don't want to be a part of the pile of nuclear ash. All right, so hey, man, let go of the mortal thoughts, man. Let go of all these different bullshit ties you have to this place, these people, and all these other things out here, man. All right, because none of it's going to bring you salvation, man. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.